The Boston Celtics trading Jaylen away still feels like a total shock to the basketball world. For years, the formula in the National Basketball Association was simple. You gathered as much elite star power as possible and figured out the rest of the roster later. That specific formula is completely dead in the modern era of professional basketball. The league demands a roster constructed without a single massive glaring hole. Teams must build deep lineups that can adapt to any style of play and sustain success for years. Brad Stevens and the Boston front office understand this new reality better than anyone else. They are actively shaping the future of the franchise around these new restrictions. To understand this massive shift, you have to look closely at the new collective bargaining agreement. The league introduced incredibly restrictive apron rules designed to punish massive payrolls. Stevens recently spoke about this specific challenge in a behind-the-scenes video. He explained that the team had a very short window with the group that won the title in 2024. Boston has been paying the ultimate financial price for that success over the last couple of seasons. Now they are forced to construct the next championship contender under very different circumstances. The game is changing rapidly and front offices must adapt immediately or fall behind the competition. Stevens noted that you now need more players capable of performing at a remarkably high level. You need a bench that is incredibly deep from top to bottom. The problem is that staying under a financial threshold and hoarding talent do not go together easily. Teams are forced to make brutal financial decisions regarding their biggest beloved stars. You have to be incredibly smart about the role players you choose to surround your core with. You need young talent that can develop and grow within your specific tactical system. You also need older and more accomplished veterans who are willing to accept a smaller role. Stevens never mentioned anyone by name during his detailed explanation, but it is perfectly clear exactly who he was talking about. The Celtics place massive value on the two-way depth they have built internally. Young wings like Baylor Shireman and Jordan Walsh are crucial to this long-term vision. Hugo Gonzalez and others provide cheap depth that is absolutely essential under the new rules. Boston refused to blow up this depth even when Giannis Antetokounmpo was available via trade. Instead, they chose to keep extending these crucial role players. They prioritized overall roster balance rather than tying up 35% of their cap. Giving that massive chunk of money to Jaylen Brown would have crippled their future flexibility. Stevens also emphasized the massive importance of overall roster fit. He talked about older players willing to step into a complementary role. This is a direct reference to bringing in a veteran star like Paul George. George can step in and play perfectly next to Jayson Tatum without clashing for usage. Keeping Brown could have created an awkward dilemma about who the true number one option was. Moving Brown solved a financial crisis while clarifying the team hierarchy at the exact same time. On paper, this new Celtics team might not look like a conventional championship roster. Do not have 5 current All-Stars like the legendary squad that won it all in 2024. But this is an entirely new league with entirely new rules for roster construction. Boston still boasts a true superstar in Jayson Tatum to lead the franchise forward. They surrounded him with supplementary star-level talent like George and Derek White. Peyton Pritchard provides incredibly reliable production from the backcourt. The Celtics also feature elite depth across every single position on the floor. Their young wings are ready to contribute meaningful minutes right now. They built a massive center rotation featuring Mitchell Robinson and Neemias Queta. Luka Garza adds even more size and skill to the frontcourt depth chart. This team can legitimately play 12 guys deep on any given night. Every single player knows their exact role and executes it at an extremely high level. All of the pieces fit together like a perfectly constructed basketball puzzle. This roster is built in a way that allows it to stay intact for a very long time. Stevens also retained the flexibility to make upgrades if he sees a glaring need. It is understandable why some fans might feel muted optimism heading into this upcoming season. Many view this as a transition year after dealing away a homegrown star like Brown, but the front office appears extremely confident in the roster they have assembled. This team has the depth and versatility to shock the league and compete for a title immediately. Boston fans might be in for a very pleasant surprise when this new group hits the floor. Think back to the Miami Heat forming their Big Three, or the Golden State Warriors adding Kevin Durant to a 73-win team. The league was defined by franchises stockpiling 3 or 4 max contract players. Front offices would figure out the rest of the roster using minimum contracts. That strategy worked brilliantly for a very long time. But the league offices watched competitive balance evaporate. Small market teams were frustrated by their inability to retain talent. The Players Association and the league agreed to change the financial landscape forever. The new collective bargaining agreement introduced the dreaded second apron. This second apron is not just a luxury tax penalty. It strips teams of essential roster building tools. You lose the mid-level exception completely. You cannot aggregate salaries and trades. Your future first-round draft picks become frozen and move to the end of the draft. It is designed to break up expensive rosters exactly like the Boston Celtics. Brad Stevens saw this storm approaching before anyone else did. He realized the 2024 championship core was simply too expensive to keep together. Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown were both eligible for supermax contracts. Paying both of them would consume over 70% of the total salary cap. That leaves almost nothing to pay the other 13 players on the roster. Stevens had to make a choice between keeping 2 stars or keeping a complete basketball team. He chose the team. Let us analyze the decision to trade Jaylen Brown specifically. Brown is an incredible talent who finished 6th in MVP voting. Trading a player of his caliber in the prime of his career is virtually unprecedented. But Stevens understood the concept of marginal value. Having 2 players who occupy the exact same physical spaces on the floor is redundant. Tatum and Brown are both elite scoring wings, but you only play with one basketball. By trading Brown for Paul George and future assets, Stevens diversified the roster. George is an older veteran who understands how to play off the ball. He does not need to dominate usage to be highly effective. He is a willing passer and a brilliant perimeter defender. This creates a cleaner offensive hierarchy. Tatum is the undisputed primary engine of the offense. George operates as the ultimate luxury supporting star. This eliminates the awkward tension of 2 stars fighting for the same exact spotlight. Now let us look at the young players Boston decided to invest in. Baylor Shireman brings elite shooting and passing vision. Jordan Walsh provides relentless defensive energy and athletic upside. Hugo Gonzalez is a versatile piece who can develop at his own specific pace. These players represent cost-controlled talent. They will be on cheap rookie contracts for the next several years. It is the absolute holy grail of modern NBA roster construction. If you have star players taking up massive cap space, you must find cheap contributors. Stevens locked these young guys up and extended their development timelines. This is exactly how you sustain excellence over a full decade. Imagine a hypothetical scenario where Boston kept Jaylen Brown. They sign him to the full Supermax extension. The team immediately skyrockets past the second apron penalty threshold. Derek White becomes a free agent and demands true market value. Boston cannot afford to pay him without facing catastrophic financial penalties. They lose White for absolutely nothing in return. Then Mitchell Robinson suffers a minor injury during the regular season. Because Boston has no mid-level exception, they cannot sign a quality backup center. They are forced to play minimum contract players who are completely overmatched. The entire depth chart crumbles under the pressure. Tatum and Brown are forced to play 45 minutes a night just to win regular season games, reach the playoffs completely exhausted and suffer a brutal early exit. The fans turn on the front office and demand a full rebuild. This is the exact nightmare scenario Brad Stevens actively avoided. He traded away a beloved star to protect the structural integrity of the entire franchise. The implications of this strategy reach far beyond the city of Boston. Other front offices are watching this massive experiment very closely. If the Celtics can win another title with this deep roster model, the entire league will copy them. We will see an absolute end to the era of the super team. Teams will prioritize keeping 7 or 8 quality rotation players over acquiring a third star. We are already seeing ripples of this change across the entire league. The Denver Nuggets were forced to trade Peyton Watson just to avoid tax penalties. The Clippers let Paul George walk away for similar financial reasons. The NBA is undergoing a massive evolutionary shift. Adaptability is the single most important trait a front office can possess. Brad Stevens has proven time and time again that he is always 2 steps ahead. He transitioned from an elite head coach to an elite executive seamlessly. He possesses a unique understanding of how locker room dynamics intersect with salary cap math. He knows that players need clearly defined roles to thrive. When everyone knows their specific job, the team functions like a well-oiled machine. Derek White knows his job is to defend the point of attack and hit open shots. Peyton Pritchard knows his job is to provide instant offense off the bench. Mitchell Robinson knows his job is to protect the rim and secure rebounds. There is no confusion about who should be taking the final shot. The clarity of purpose is what makes this current Celtics team so incredibly dangerous. They might lack the overwhelming star power of their previous championship iterations, but they make up for it with overwhelming collective intelligence and depth. Basketball is a game of attrition. The 82-game regular season is a brutal marathon. Injuries are inevitable and extreme fatigue is a constant factor. When a team relies entirely on 2 players, they become incredibly fragile. If one star goes down, the entire system collapses. But when a team is built on depth, they become incredibly resilient. If Paul George misses 10 games, the Celtics can slide a young wing into the starting lineup. The offensive system continues to operate efficiently. The defensive principles remain completely intact. This level of insulation is exactly what Stevens set out to build. He insulated Jayson Tatum from the burden of carrying a flawed roster. He insulated the franchise from the punishing restrictions of the new collective bargaining agreement coaching staff by providing them with versatile pieces who can execute any game plan. The vision for the post-Jaylen Brown era is incredibly clear. It is a vision based purely on sustainability. It is a vision based on intelligence and strategic foresight. It is a vision that prioritizes the collective strength of the roster over individual accolades. Many fans are still grieving the loss of a player who helped deliver a championship. It is completely understandable to feel sentimental about the past, but nostalgia does not win basketball games. Forward-thinking executives are the ones who hang banners. This coming season will be the ultimate test of the new philosophy. The Eastern Conference is loaded with incredibly talented teams. The Philadelphia 76ers now feature Jaylen Brown alongside Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. New York Knicks are deeper and more dangerous than ever before. The Milwaukee Bucks and Miami Heat remain massive threats. The path back to the NBA Finals will be incredibly difficult. But the Boston Celtics are uniquely equipped to navigate this intense gauntlet. They have the depth to survive the grueling regular season. They have the high-end talent to compete in a 7-game playoff series. They have the tactical flexibility to adapt to any opponent they face. Do not let the lack of a second Supermax player fool you. This roster is a masterpiece of modern NBA team building. Brad Stevens has constructed a sustainable powerhouse that will contend for years to come. The true brilliance of this offseason will reveal itself when the playoffs arrive. Boston is ready to prove that depth and intelligence will always conquer raw star power.